from China. I was born in 1990, one-child policy, so I grew up alone. But when I was 5 years old, my parents divorced. And when I was 6 years old, my mom got remarried with my stepfather. My stepdad was very abusive, so he will get drunk and then come home. He'll beat my mom, and he'll be very verbally abusive. And so I grew up in that kind of environment, and my biological dad was very busy. So I basically grew up fatherless, and in that kind of environment, so I had only one purpose as my life goal was to one day that I can leave that home, and I can find a way to take my mom also out of that home, and just to end that torment from my stepfather and all. So at that time, for me, like, family was just full of chaos, and doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean beautiful, it doesn't mean smile, it doesn't mean happy, laughter. It just chaos, and it just torment and endless, and I've always hated him, and I've always hated the weakness of my mom, that she couldn't take a stand for herself, and then she couldn't take a stand for me. So I've always hated that, and so I grew up just want to be strong, just want to be so independent, and so just I want to be able to protect myself and to provide for myself. That's what was driving me. And as most of the Chinese people were very money and success driven, our mindset is that if we have enough money, we can do anything. And because my parents' generation, they really went through starving, and then have no food, and then fighting, and then a lot of difficulties in their life. So they just want us to be able to no longer need to worry about food, or and just to be able to provide for yourself and have power and have authority in society, that you can find a place. And so that's what had been driving me until I was 18 years old. And so I was basically very lonely, I didn't even know what was happy, because I never experienced that. So I didn't even know that I had a need for love. I had the need for family, and for a sense of belonging, and somewhere that I can be just who I am. So I went to Guangzhou when I was 18 years old, and I was so ready to start a life, like so refreshed, that I finally leave my family, means like leaving chaos. So now I finally have control of my life. So when I was 18 years old, I went to university, and then I had only one purpose, was to be successful, and to leave and settle down in this big city, which is very hard because we have so many people in China, and everyone is competing with everyone. So I worked very hard, so I had like part-time jobs, and also did my best in school. And it was when I was 20 years old I started dating, and unfortunately I didn't fall in love with a good guy. And then that hurt myself very deeply, and because I didn't believe in family and friend support, and I had no friend to talk to, and because I was just always be myself, and then putting on a mask and just be happy, and then just push myself forward, because I need this, I need to fight for myself, because nobody is going to fight for me. And then I didn't know how to make this pain go away, so I just got involved with a lot of like alcohol, and then partying, and then drinking, and then at the time I was working also in bars as a singer and dancer. So I was like, I don't even care about relationship because my parents' history. I thought family was just chaos, and if I want, I think family was just mainly for next generation to give birth to a baby, which I can do it by myself right now because of technology. So I never wanted family. So dating relationship for me just means that I can have someone to satisfy my loneliness, and then someone was there for me when I need it. And everyone around me was the same. We were raised up atheists, and we were raised up this way. We were raised up that teacher would tell us there's no God and there's only science and money, and you have to fight for yourself. So I got involved with this lifestyle of just cycling with bad guys around me, and I didn't know how to get out of this cycle. Just keep dating bad guys, and then end up breaking heart, and then hurting each other, and then just end up this just cycling, and then until one day, when I was 20 years old, I found out I was pregnant, and that was basically I think was the devastating moment of my life, that I could possibly just end my life, but there was only one thing I knew was right, that I have to fight for myself because nobody's going to fight for me. It was so much shame, so much unforgiveness, and with just a lot of things in my mind at that time. I couldn't even process it. And so I made a very self-decision at that time to end the baby's life and to just move on my life, pretend nothing happened. But inside my heart, I was already collapsed. Everything was already so broken in my heart because I felt no one's going to love me anymore, and no one ever loved me, because I've tried so many times and it didn't work, and I didn't even know what is love, but I just know that no one can satisfy me. That it was always in this hole inside of my heart that none of this relationship with guys can fill, and none of the successful of the school can fill, or successful of earning a little bit of money can fill that hole. I was just so empty, and I didn't believe in love. Like, no one will cherish me, no one will just love me for who I am, no one. And then basically my life was carried with this burden and with this shame that I have to carry for the rest of my life. And then at that moment I met some people, a group of Christians in English Corner, and I didn't know why, but they seemed so bright to me that I saw just so much light in their life, and the way that they interact with each other, and the way they're always smiling, and then it was just so drawn to me that I was so drawn to them. What kind of life you're living that you're so bright? And so I always like to hang out with them, talk with them, and ask them questions, and they start to share with me this Savior in their life, which is Jesus Christ, and how Christ has changed their life, how Christ has redeemed them, forgive them, washed them, and then I was just so amazed because I was still an atheist at that time, until one day they invited me for a worship night. It was 3 days after my abortion. I had to went through the pain all by myself, and I didn't tell anyone. I tried to keep it secret. And then 3 days after my abortion, one of them invited me to a worship night. I didn't know what was worship, but I loved the music, so I went. And so we were just singing, and this song, it's called How He Loves Us. This song was just singing, and then everyone was so, we just sing this song to God, how He loves us. And that moment I was just asking Him, if you're really there, if you are the God that they proclaim to be, and if you are the God who changed their life and helped them and loved them, so where are you? I would just I was just asking this question, so where are you, God? If you are the God they proclaim to be. And all of a sudden this girl came to pray for me. I didn't know her, and she didn't know me. She didn't know anything about me, and she was like, can I pray for you? I said yes. And so she held my hands, and then she started to pray for me. And then through her prayer, I encountered God. I heard him. I felt him physically. I felt him emotionally. I felt him. I knew he was there. I didn't know what was that, but I knew it was love. So from like my whole body I felt loved. I feel treasured. That moment I experienced God's love, and his love was just like liquid washing over my body, and I knew it was him. And then I was so shocked that he said he loved me, and I asked him why, and he said, Fiona, I love you for who you are, not for what you have done. And he would just keep telling me, I love you, I love you, I love you, and you are beautiful. I made you for a purpose. And then I was so just undone, and that was the moment I was completely open. And then I didn't even know what was that, but I knew it was love. I knew it was God. I knew I was cherished. I knew I was important to him. I knew that everything has changed. And then after that encounter, I keep continuing growing in the Lord, and then read the Bible and encounter him. Of course, there are ups and downs. And then through my encounters, he healed my heart. He healed my wounds from my family, from my childhood memories. And he was there. He was telling me that I was there for you, and I trust you, that you will love me even more after you went through this. And God was just totally healed my heart. So when I look at my family, I no longer compare them with other Chinese parents, with things that they cannot do, but with compassion and with love, that I could love them because Christ's love is enough for me. And I could love them. I can reach out to them with love as a child, as a daughter. And so my mom has now become a believer, and my dad has reconciled with me, and he even told me he loves me, and our relationship is much closer. So I just wanted to share it with you guys that Christ is enough for me.